My name is Vina.
I'm Jocelyn.
Hi, I'm Emery.
And I'm Dylan.
This is our play on the cult of Dionysus in classical Greece. Now you may be asking yourself, what's so interesting about this cult?
Here to tell you how the cult of Dionysus transformed its ritual observances from a crazed force to a domestic practice when it came to the veneration of Dionysus in classical Greece.
Wait, before we answer the question, we have to know our context first.
In the beginning, and I mean the late 3rd millennium BCE, the Minoan society rose on the island of Crete. From 2000 to 1450 BCE, they built a series of castles and composed a written script called Linear A to keep commercial record. It became the center of Mediterranean trade. A series of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions hit the island of Crete. Minoan society faced outside invasion because of Minoan wall. The Minoan society fell. Meanwhile, in 2200 BCE, the Mycenaean society rose in southern Greece. In 1600 BCE, the Mycenaeans began to trade with the Minoans and eventually expanded their influence outside the Greek peninsula. This led to the Trojan War, a conflict between the Mycenaeans and the city of Troy in Anatolia. This created chaos in the Mediterranean and made it impossible to maintain stable government. We see the rise of Greek city-states of Republic, who are independently
Well,
run.
now when this all goes down, let's answer the question already. Many Greek city-states at first rejected the cult of Dionysus because of its foreign origins and its wild, drunken rituals. When the cult first arrived in Rome, worshippers held their celebrations in secret.
They drank wine and partied and went into the woods and had wild drunken rituals. They were wild and domestic and frantic and went through phases of rejection from Greek states and overcame resistance and gained followers throughout the time period.
It is even shown in their art. Depictions that are seen are usually unnatural and broken, almost always in a state of near collapse. Even images of Dionysus were wild. He was seen as old, such as in the relief of Dionysus' precision with statue. Theater was another form of devotion to Dionysus, and was often followed by drunk parades. These plays were used to show their devotion to Dionysus and included some of the greatest poets, performers, and singers. Ceremonies for Dionysus were often theater because the performances were seen as sacred and acts of worship.
What's the cause of this change, you may ask?
Dionysus freed men through drunkenness and inspiration. He became a god of holy inspiration because he filled men with his spirit to write and act gloriously. This view of him became way more important than the early ideas of him.
As Dionysus' cult began to evolve, so did their art. Unlike earlier depictions, Dionysus began to embody more traditional Greek desires. He was sculpted in a younger and beauty-filled way and became more tamed, and theater began to blossom, though they no longer had wild festivities. After theater, they would soon catch the attention of other societies and begin to spread. It would also become a way to tell Dionysus' story. The life of the tragic god was expressed in heartfelt plays. They displayed his suffering, which consisted of what led to his catastrophic death and his resurrection.
Hold on, how do you guys know all this information?
Well, we had to do some research.
Hi, I'm Edith Hamilton, an American educator who wrote a book on Greek mythology called Mythology in 1942.
Something tells me I shouldn't trust you.
Why not?
Well, I doubt your historical context. You are clearly a secondary source since you actually didn't live in the classical period, so there is a chance that your work isn't even historically accurate. On top of that, you compiled information from other sources in order to write your book in the first place. So what if there might have been a mistranslation from the accounts in classical Greek literature? Greek mythology itself has many variations, so who are you to claim that your book is factual, because it might as well not be.
I'm editor John M. Wickersham, and I published Dionysus in the 2000s.
Why should we trust you?
The cult of Dionysus was known for being a mysterious cult. Most of your information was based on myths, which can easily be fabricated. Your sources may also be unreliable, because there is no way to make sure they are historically accurate. Hey, I'm Alana Kuntz. I am a student of Wisconsin Milwaukee, graduating with a art history degree and certificate of ancient Mediterranean studies. I published the art and artifacts associated with the cult of Dionysus in 2013.
Though you seem reliable, how can we ensure your sources for the article aren't outdated?
Older sources and artifacts are often used. More studies draw more advanced answers. I use both older and newer sources readers are getting both first and second-hand evidence.
The cult of Dionysus still impacts today's society through its advancements in theater.